New format. We're getting serious YouTuber style.
In this video, I want to share some hidden gems of the mid-2000s in what I feel to be a golden era for trails around the world. I'm Boyd, and I've been obsessed about building and riding trails for over 20 years. I've been documenting trails culture ever since I picked up a camera at the age of 14.
Let me take you back to 2008.
An era riddled with girls' jeans, baggy beanies halfway down your back, floppy hair halfway down your face, tight tees, internet guest books, and blog spots.
I was only 18 at the time, and trails still very much had this air of secrecy to them.
Back then, pre-social media, people ran blogs for their spots, posted digging updates on there, made web edits, and occasionally yearly DVDs. Absolute treat. A stark contrast to today's 5-second clip posting pandemic. Sometimes you'd only heard of spots through the grapevine, or only one or two elusive photos in Ride or Dig.
Or maybe in a video part, which if it came out on DVD and you happened to buy the DVD.
And to be invited to someone else's spot was a huge honor. I suppose when I think about it, it was when trail builders started to connect to others outside of their semi-local area, enabling travel and community growth. This happened again in 2012, when Instagram appeared on the scene. Truly, one of the most special things about trails is that community, the shared passion and the vision for spending thousands of hours behind the shovel.
The rumor mill was in full effect. Crazy stories, tales of psychopathic trail lords living in huts in the woods. This was actually true at one spot. And other stories, actually same spot, where if you broke your leg or you broke a bone, they stick you out on the side of the road and they tell the ambulance that you broke a leg getting hit by a car. Yeah. And you'd be exposed to other people's scenes from other people traveling, and you'd see new spots and you'd be like, ooh, where's that? Well, they look good. What are they doing there, you know? It's like we can't help it. It's like our love of adventure and travel too. It's like we want to do that. We want to explore. We want to see what's out there. We want to see what other people are doing. Super sick.
Oh, getting thirsty.
Anyway, where were we?
Yes, the quality isn't 4K, but the essence is there in droves. In a time where everything online feels so transient, so fleeting, let's step back and take some time to enjoy these videos from a golden era, drenched in secrecy and allure. All links will be in the description so you can enjoy the parts in full, how the creators intended. A huge thank you to all who put the time and effort back in the day to making these. It was a lot harder than it is today. There was a small BMX store called The Playground in a bigger town just up from where I lived. Inside the shop was a glass case at the front desk, containing all sorts, such as wax, ABEX 7 bearings, hell yeah, and DVDs of the era. One DVD stood out to me. Black and white cover, giant woods, trails. That's right, building the underground. This video is era-defining, in my opinion. It completely changed the game for me. I was obsessed with how they built stuff. Wide, long and fast, twisting sections. Up until this point, I had only seen trails in magazines and the Ride BMX UK VHSs, along with sprung videos, which I'll dedicate an entire video to at a later date. It exposed me to a whole other style of building and riding. A lot of these riders were huge early influences, such as Darren Reed, GJ, and Justin Inman. If you haven't seen Building the Underground, It's up on YouTube. Go check it out. Here's some clips of some Northwest spots, which are just incredible. Those guys know how to build. Earlier on in the video, I talked about how trails had an air of secrecy to them. And this is one of the spots that had that in spades. I don't know whether it was just because I wasn't well connected at the time, but when I messaged Frog to see if we could visit, I couldn't believe it when he replied. It felt like visiting royalty, to be honest. That sounds kind of crazy, but yeah. When you walked into the woods, you followed a winding, narrow seam of dirt, cut through a thick blanket of ivy. Deeper and darker down into the woods you went. Eventually, it opened up, and just ahead we could make out a panoramic view of perfectly shaped, round corners, obviously, lips and landings, nestled in the undergrowth. This was it. Paradise. Robbo and Frog were huge inspirations to me, and still to this day I shape my lips and landings heavily influenced by the village style. It was also the first time I witnessed the painting technique, which I believe is possibly from Brick House originally. Maybe somebody can fact check me that in the comments. You pour water onto the riding surface and then you paint or scrub with a soft brush, which essentially works like a clay slip in ceramics. It seals the surface, and my god, I had never seen trails so dialed. Everything was mint. Big thank you to the village locals for having us. Memories I won't forget anytime soon. Now, I don't have a PhD in BMX history, although I would like one. But I've been around long enough to notice that during each era, there seems to be only a few standout riders that have that special style source. Robbo was one of them. He was up there with Chase. Mike Miller. Rowie. And a few others. who folks really looked up to as purveyors of bicycle shapes. While some need video game tricks to impress, these guys just had to ride their bike over any terrain in front of them, and it'd look incredible. Next up, we got some savagery from the POWS boys, POW, another stronghold scene of the era. And if you were looking how to rip jumps and party, these guys had you covered. Northern Cali, heavy jumps, full send sections from the whole crew. They'd put out a couple DVDs over the years, which were always a treat and got me fired up to build bigger stuff and go get loose. We eventually met many years later in Pittsburgh and had a rad time at Welcome Jam. Cheers, boys!
Okay, next one. Is this kind of like I want to say it's kind of defining for the era in terms of style of jump built, because I don't think that many people or very few people were building jumps like this.
This one's a little bit of a curveball, but I wanted to include it because this was also era defining in a different way. For me, it was the first spot I saw with serious attention to the square edge doctrine, later known as backsides matter, circa Can You Dig It times. These were some crispy boys. Keeves would be jacked up about these for sure. I'll have to get his reaction. I'm sure people had done this before, but this was the first time I'd seen it to this extent and level of detail. The French know how to build and are still, to this day, sculpting some amazing spots. Envoyez, mes amis!
All the blogs and the internet was kind of losing their mind at the time when this came out. So pretty cool stuff. Like culturally significant for the trails. All right, next up, we've got Belton 2004. A few Midlands heroes in this one.
Look at the fits. Look at the bikes. Beautiful stuff right there. This style of trails gets the nostalgia brain fired up on so many levels. But man, how fun does that look? Almost the opposite of where we started in this video. These bowls and lips were tight, rhythmic, and playful. I grew up riding a set of trails not too dissimilar to these, and I'm sure many of you did the same. To this day, J & Co still holding it down at this legendary spot.
Finally, still want this video to be insanely long. I think I'm going to continue this series because I have 33 pages of liked videos on my Vimeo to kind of go through. Vimeo was the platform back in the day. Last one, Dialed 603 Trails, New Hampshire. This place, they also had a blog, Johnny Herrick and Co. This spot was amazing in terms of creativity. It was the first time I'd seen like over under bridges and crazy like pocket, like multiple 270 pocket berms in a row, step on, step off, or step up, step down kind of situations. And yeah, kind of like some of their big jumps had like a Northwest style, like everything's pretty wide and like kind of wide and long and drawn out, like long pits in between sets. Really good stuff. And of course like killer moss too in those NH woods. Enjoy. Hope you enjoyed this journey back in time with me. Drop one of these, do a little bit of this. Really helps me out. If you want to support the channel, I have art prints created by yours truly up on Etsy link that's on the homepage. And we'll see you in the next one.